Can you say more about what is quiet joy?
I want to say there's 3 sources of quiet joy. Would that be helpful? I think helpful to
Yes,
know,
that'd be great.
right? This is from the suttas,
Mm.
the teachings of the Buddha. 3
Mhm.
sources of quiet joy that can nourish us. One is worldly joy.
Mhm.
And so this is the joy of the senses, of what we hear, the music, the food we eat, the sights we see,
Mm.
nature, when we see a beautiful sight in nature. All of these are worldly joys and they lift the heart.
Mm.
Second source of joy is the what we can call unworldly joys or spiritual joys or inner joys.
Mm.
These are joys of the practice. Joys like calming, the sense of, when we do a little bit of a meditation, there can be a calming.
Yeah.
This joy, or the inner qualities of kindness, of
Mm.
compassion, of equanimity, those inner qualities which we can touch, which we can turn to. In a
Mm.
way, compassion and kindness are always choices, always inner qualities of nourishment that we can turn to.
Mm.
Other inner qualities, the joy, quiet joy is another. Joy in another's joy is another inner one of these inner
Mhm.
qualities that we can turn to intentionally. Or gratitude in any way, gratitude for anything that you appreciate. What does that do inside? It can
Mm.
lift the heart. So, these inner qualities that we can turn to is the second source of joy.
Mm.
And then the third source of joy is what you pointed to earlier, that freedom is not somewhere we go.
Mm.
Freedom is in our own hearts. This capacity the heart has to know that we can let go of searching elsewhere,
Yeah.
that it's right here, this happiness. And as we get more and more familiar with how to find that,
Mm.
you found it in Burma.
Mhm.
You found that you didn't have to go to the beautiful spot in the garden.
Right.
I found it with self judgment. I don't have to make self
Mm.
judgment go away. Peace is right here. And this is the greatest treasure
Mm.
and the greatest nourishment. And so these are 3 sources of joy. And
Mm.
I'll tell a story about how they can support each other.
Yes.
I got a phone call once. I was here at home and I got a phone call, and it was upsetting. And I felt like I needed to know the answer about how to respond perfectly. And I didn't.
Mm.
And so I went out in the back alley and I started to do some walking meditation. And I just continued to feel agitated. And I stopped in the alley and I just said, "Is there any quiet joy here?"
Mm.
And I felt the sun on my face. That's a worldly joy.
Mm.
As I felt the sun on my face, I felt a calming inside. That's an unworldly joy.
Mm.
And then as I felt the calming inside, I let go of the clinging to the thought that I had to know what to do.
Ah.
And as I let go of that, everything softened. And I realized I didn't have to know. I could just make the phone call, the next phone call, without
Yeah.
knowing, without having to have the answer, without needing to be the
Yeah.
expert. And so that's said to be the greatest treasure, is
Mm.
this joy of being able to let go of trying to control, have an agenda, figure things out. And then I moved, I could make the
Right.
phone call and it unfolded in a different way.
Mm.
And so these 3 joys can support each other. They're all important. And it's important to know that the worldly joy is more unreliable, we could say. The worldly joys of the
Mm.
senses will come and go. Inner joys are more reliable. We can always turn to
Mm.
kindness and compassion. And then
Mm.
this third joy of this letting go, this release, is understood as one of the deepest joy
Mm.
that we can learn how to cultivate.
Mm.
Venerable Nalio describes our practice as a gradual refinement of joy. And a colleague of mine, Rachel Lewis, says that, we're all pleasure seekers. We just learn to seek more and more reliable pleasure.
Ah.
And so
Mm.
those are three sources of joy that we can keep our radar out for.
Mm.
Accessible every day.
Yeah.
Every day, every moment.
Yeah.
These become accessible. There's a worldly joy I've learned in just sitting. I come into just sitting. And there's a kind of a simplicity. Just and we can find a way of tuning into the pleasantness of just sitting, the pleasantness of
Yeah.
the breath. That's a worldly joy.
Mm.
So it's accessible. Before I met this teaching, I had trouble finding joy. Sometimes I couldn't find it. Now it's everywhere.
So really provided these teachings, and regardless if someone is a Buddhist or not a Buddhist, this is what's so beautiful about it.
Yes,
It's like it's a human
a
capacity
human capacity.
to connect with. Hello there, and thank you so much for stopping by this channel. I hope you find this content useful, and if you do, feel free to hit that subscribe button. It will really help me to reach to more people and keep this content going. Here we are journeying together, and let's see where this takes us.